This is the Dude, I Hope You Die podcast. This is brought to you by all the greatest Westerns in the world. I don't know. We're just going to talk about Westerns tonight because that's what I want to talk about. I was wanting to talk about Tombstone, and that's where the title comes from. Is in that when he sees Doc Holliday like on death's door, he's like, "Dude, I hope you die." Is it Ike Clanton? It's kind of how I feel tonight. So I think that's the title for my new Westerns podcast. I don't know how often we'll do these or whatever, but like I need to make a list of like show titles and shit and make cards and stuff for shit. Like I'm trying to put effort into this, but like I also really don't care about shit anymore. I don't know. Seems like you guys show up if you think I'm going to be talking shit about people, though. One of my favorite westerns of all time is Jeremiah Johnson. I did a video review of it. I watched it just the other day. It was written by Julius, the guy that wrote Red Dawn. It's not a very action-packed western. It's kind of it's a mountain man story, right? Like there's some westerns like that. They're kind of few and far between, but it's the mountain man story. If you haven't watched that, some of my other favorites are like Clint Eastwood and John Wayne movies. I could go down the list on those really. Like John Wayne, my favorite movies are probably True Grit and I don't know. I really like True Grit. Sans Iwo Jima is really good too, but it's kind of a black and white and it's a propaganda film and you guys like westerns? The movie Tombstone is always one of my favorites because it's like the 90s western. It's cast from like all of my favorite people. Has Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. Fucking Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp. Kurt Russell is one of my favorite actors, period. Hi, Backwoods. We're talking about westerns. Kurt Russell's like in all of my favorite. So, and I love westerns. So once you like made a western with him in it, it's just crazy. Me too. Like that's one of the things that like on Never Enough Suck Ass, he never talked about westerns enough. Just gonna call him that from now on. I don't really feel that way. Like, shit. It's more like I was kind of fucked up in the head for a minute. I still kind of am. I tried to apologize. You wouldn't let me apologize. So now you're never enough suck ass while I talk about westerns. That's what that was. Fucking Rifle magazine. Hi, Jumpy. Be honest, I don't even know if Jumpy's with me or against me. You were one of the trolling people. At least I think you were. I don't know who anybody was anymore, really. I really don't care. I really don't care about fucking Matt. It's just hard to fucking talk about westerns. My favorite western now is The Wind and the Lion. It's not a western at all, according to most people, but it totally is. It's Teddy Roosevelt hunting grizzly bears in Yellowstone while dealing with diplomatic affairs in Morocco. Like, and it's written and directed by John Milius, the writer, director of Dawn, and Jeremiah Johnson. Ow, damn it. I hate this fucking chair. I'm going to find a different chair to sit in, Like, I can't find a position I look good in the camera in, and this chair is like, I sit in this chair because it forces me to hold myself up. It's like a core training thing in reality. That's half of why I sit in this one over the other one, because the other one's way more comfortable. Death Hunt is one of my favorites too. Red Sun, I just recently watched. That's the movie I'd never seen. If you like The Mandalorian, you should go watch Red Sun. Red Sun is like this crazy samurai movie mixed with a western starring Charlie Bronson and remember the rest of his name. His first name's Toshiro. That's doing pretty good. He's the famous samurai actor. There's so many good westerns, and like that spaghetti western era of things really heavily influenced uh, Star Wars and John Milius, and like a lot of the things that I love anyway. That pretty much, I assume that if you're at my channel at this point, you like Star Wars, you like Red Dawn, you know who John Milius is more than likely. Uh, Jumpy says, I thought you were serious when you were going to commit self-harm. I'm serious about the fact that I'm not going to wear rifle plates. That has nothing to do with self-harm. That has to do with we're fighting an unsupported war against the United States government. Don't plan for medical fucking attention. There's no reason to wear rifle plates. They don't cover enough of you for the kind of shit that you're going to have incoming from the U.S. Army. Like, this is the difference between someone who's really going to do this shit and someone who's not. Eventually, they'll come for us. I'm ghost dancing now live on the internet. Basically. If you're gonna fucking arrest people just for fucking having thoughts and fucking arrest people for having guns and arrest people for voting a certain way or doing whatever, then war is the only way. You know, I'm an open insurrection against the United States government, I guess. Maybe I'm the only one. But if that's really what they're doing, like, maybe I'm just ballsy enough to say that. That's my thing with all those fucking cowards at the gun community. It's basically, it's Patriot time, and they're playing with fucking Star Wars action figures. Very true, Backwoods. The true story of the Mad Trapper's crazier than the movie. Liv Johnson. In John Milius's original version of the script, it had Jeremiah Johnson eating Indians' livers and psychedelic mushrooms and tripping out in the woods for another 2 hours. There's an edit. Oh, probably Jumpy, but like, this is a show, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm saying shit on the internet. I don't care. And honestly, I don't have a lawyer. Not gonna. You're gonna kill me eventually. Maybe I should stop saying that shit on the internet. If you want me to stop saying that shit, I will. But I'm not gonna like take this fucking video down. There's that. It's very abundantly clear who and what I am and what I'm doing here and whether I am or am not gonna do things. I've said that about a billion times on here, that I'm never gonna do shit. That I exist to be a thorn in their side and to inspire people to prepare and to defend themselves against the federal government. I am the Sharif of Tulsa or whatever. Like, I'm hoping to end up next to fucking Osama bin Laden. I'm I'm trying to drive away people that don't like me, to be honest. If you're going to torch them, no. If you're gonna lightly torch them, you might. The open L's he's asking about. The reason is when you torch it, all that shit just kind of burns off, and there's not that much lacquer on these anyway. If it was a heavy lacquer, you might. Yeah, Liver Eating Johnson was a real person. That movie was a real story that they heavily edited, actually. Like I said, according to John Milius's version of the story, he was eating some magic liver and fucking tripping balls killing Indians. And I actually kind of tend to think that might be true. Yeah, you can. Boiled linseed oil is good. I have beeswax and they smell amazing. I pretty much just do beeswax on all things because like I bought a block of it for like $5 and it works really well. It's not like there's not other things you can use or whatever. He's suicidal. Anyway, Matt's comment's still there as far as I know. J Bean. I didn't take it down. It's on that video. It's like a mile fucking long, calling me out for being a motherfucker, forever saying that I might call the FBI when I'm getting death threats and pictures of my grandmother. So, like, yeah, in essence, we have a real issue. And now I was doing a show just kind of trying to sort out my own head for a while. And I started going like, fuck it, why am I doing this? Let's just start shining people on. And shining Matt on came out somewhere in that. And I don't even fucking care about that. It's what happens when you don't even fucking talk to me on the phone after that shit happens. Like, tell me that. Tell me that you never want to fucking see me again. That's how I'm taking it. I'm telling you here and now that if you don't let me apologize to you, that I will never speak to you ever fucking again. And I've said that several times now, and I don't know which one gets through. One of them will fucking get through. So that's where I stand with Matt. He's cool. You can go watch him. You can enjoy him. I have no problems with that. He's not a racist. He's not a homophobe. He's not whatever. He's not any of this problem. Just he and I have an interpersonal issue now. And I guess that started with me. And I didn't realize that he took me talking about the FBI that way. And if that's the way he took it, then I guess we were never really friends. Back to Westerns. I'm looking at my screen right now, and it has Dread, Jeremiah Johnson, and Wind and the Lion. And my question to you is Dread a Western? Because, like, technically, that's meant to be like modern Los Angeles gone haywire, right? It's kind of like The Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski is 100% a Western. I don't know. I think Dread is. I would call it a Western. Cat, are you gonna like jump over to that other chair, or are you just like going crazy? Crazy fucker. So, to me, my goal in life is to get the FBI here. Like, I don't want local cops kicking down my door. I want to get Ruby Ridged. Don't we? Yes, we do. And it's not because I want to die. It's because they've made it to where they fucked with the Constitution to the point that I'm not free. You're not free. None of us are free. They're literally stealing our shit. I'm at war with the government. I think you should be too. I think everyone should be. The kitty's agitated because I yell at the camera. He doesn't know that I'm not just upset, do you? That's why he starts yowling and stuff. Like, he would start yowling back in the day, because I'd be smoking weed like a freight train talking to E Honda. He'd be getting high and hearing me fucking yell. It upsets the cat, doesn't it? And yes, the FBI needs to be investigated again heavily. Like, in my opinion, there's not a single person at the FBI that's redeemable. Every one of them should be put in federal prison or hung for treason. Same goes for the entire Brandon family. Same goes for the entire Democratic Party. Same goes for anyone that doesn't swear loyalty to the Constitution in its unalterated form. Or unadulterated form. Sorry, I'm fucking smoking. You get made up words sometimes. Unalterated. Like, part of my thing is, I had the FBI come to my door. Let's tell that story. I bought armor on PayPal from AR500 Armor, lost my PayPal account, and had the FBI show up on my front door. As it turns out, I'm not a terrorist. And this is why, in a nutshell, I'm feeling pretty bold. I think if they came back, the same people that stepped in before would probably step in again. It's not that I'm untouchable. It's that I've done nothing wrong, and you can't fuck with people in Oklahoma. That's a big part of their problem, is where I am sitting and what my blood is. They are afraid to come here. So I feel like I can say this shit. With the recent mass killers, 3 out of 4 heavily investigated by the FBI. The FBI chose not to detain or take them in for questioning. I guess, maybe we're all fucking crazy. That done. Like, PayPal account right now, I can't even really figure out a way to sell these and make money off of them because of that. I've been in Russia, so they did that like a year or two ago. That's why the knife making thing imploded on itself. This is serious to me. They killed my business. They killed my livelihood. Like, they are continuing to fuck with people's lives. The Constitution is in tatters. They're trying to ban. If this next election doesn't go well, I don't see any reason to fucking have any faith that the system will ever right itself ever again. This is a political video. This is a free speech political video. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I'm not threatening anyone. I'm just saying this is how it is. I don't know what I don't know what any of that means. Okay. Let's look up more Westerns. I think that's half of my thing is like, I like Westerns because of my grandfather. My grandfather is literally spinning in his fucking grave right now because of what's going on at a federal level in our politics. So this is me saying, why aren't we voting to fucking separate states and go to war or something? Like, something has to be done before we end up at war with Russia. Someone just blew up a fucking oil pipeline. We're going to be in World War III soon, and we're going to have, dickhead McDuff at the fucking wheel of the fucking boat, steering us off the fucking edge of the world, because I'm just Joe Biden and I don't know any better. Rebel. Right? I think at this point we are right to rebel. There's about 100 fucking grievances. Sometimes I think God made me this way just so that I can be so fucking stubborn that I'm the one saying this shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. And that's the other thing that's probably going to let me get away with some of this shit is I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm saying. Fuck them. Oh. My bet is some point Judge. Judges like me. Judges like my grandfather. Bro, you're saying it to some people. I don't care. J Bean, are you a troll? Bye. Yeah, I'm saying it to 6 people. Oh, wait. I really don't want to cut anyone else off. Like, I don't care if I'm saying it to no one. Just so that's clear. Bye. Like, if you really don't like me, why are you here? You're part of the problem. This is a show about Westerns. I'm not even sure how we got onto this topic. Literally, the title of this is from Tombstone. J Bean, I don't even know what you're saying anymore. But okay. Whatever you feel you need to do. I'm not going to block you. I don't think you're a troll. I think you're one of my fans, and it makes me sad that you're no longer a fan of mine. Okay? But at the same time, I'm me, and I'm upset tonight. Uh, I don't sell my knives anywhere right now. I don't have any for sale. I'm going to have these 2 for sale. I already have the packages signed and dated and everything, and they're done. Like, I think I'm going to sell these and use the money to buy more knives. But I don't know what a fair price to ask for something like this really is. Gonna say this thing. I believe the Tombstone gunfight was unjustified. I agree. Like this is what we really should be talking about is the movie's Tombstone series of events. That's Matt's series of events. Okay, there's always 2 sides to a story, right? Well, just like there's my side, there's the Earp side of the story, which is presented in Tombstone. And then there is the other side of the story, which if you'd like to hear, I'd go watch Carl at InRange TV's videos on the subject. They're pretty good, and they're one of the few things that actually present the bad guys' version of events of that. And basically, it's that Wyatt Earp and his brothers were Yankee carpetbaggers there to make money. They were there as cattle ranchers or whatever, and they had some squabbles, and it went back and forth, and it was a whole thing. And then they started getting badges to make it legal, and Wyatt was the first one to get a federal badge. That's how that whole thing really went. I don't think Wyatt Earp is necessarily a good person or a bad person. He just is. And he was someone like me that would not be fucked with, basically. And they were some people that thought that they owned that little community. And they were kind of right, and he was kind of right, and neither one of them are right. Welcome to America. Everybody's wrong. Hope Matt watches this. This is the best thing I've said all night about him. In case you can't tell, I am a burning bridges kind of person. Like, if you don't like me, cool. You like me, cool. Like, all I really want to do is talk about knives and cool movies and guns and maybe news into the world, whatever comes up. I'd rather not discuss fucking dickheads on the internet. Sorry, kind of freaked out for a fucking day or two. Like it was one of those that the antibiotics were good, the weed was good, and I felt like a fucking felt great. I think Billy the Kid got a horrible rap. Billy the Kid was essentially Wyatt Earp on the other side. Like, and then he got ran down and shot supposedly. I think that old man that showed up in the 20s saying he was Billy the Kid, I think that was Billy the Kid because they knew enough of each other back then. The person that shot him was an old friend of his. There's enough evidence to it that, like, maybe Pat Garrett. Yep. Jay Bean, I don't want to lose you as a fan or whatever. I'm not. I don't think everyone is out to get me. This is a show, and I'm like fighting trolls. If you're not a troll, then I don't have an issue with you. I'll stop that if you want. But like, I'm tired of no one watching my shit because Never Enough Ammo says I'm a motherfucker or whatever it is. Because that's really what it is. He left it at this person's no longer on my show anymore. And I keep getting people going, what happened to you? So tell people or don't. Do whatever. I don't care. Just don't leave it at this person's a motherfucker. Yeah, Brushy Bill Roberts. That's the one I was talking about. I like the real stories of the West. Jesse James rode all over all the places I ever went in my whole life, basically, from Robbers Cave all the way to like St. Louis. That's kind of like every place I've ever lived or hung out, really, for most of my life, except for a few times. And I love Robbers Cave. If you've never been there, it's a state park in Oklahoma. It's a Jesse James hideout. And there's like, I don't get the difference between gangster movies and westerns, other than time setting. Like it's all the same shit. That's why I really love what's that movie? Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis. It's a great 1911 movie. A lot of cool 1920s guns and like the Untouchables. That's a western too. It's just set in Chicago in the 20s. Go watch. What was the other one called? There's another one set in like the early 20s or teens. I think it's the Newton Boys, maybe something like that. Let me see if that's it. Yes, like that was a group of bandits in like Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri that like they robbed a train for like the largest amount of money that was ever stolen. It's cool. I sunk into tank development. I kind of think that the future of warfare will not involve tanks. I can't really go into details on that, but if China and Russia are going to be using tanks, they're going to be very, very surprised. That's one of those like inside baseball things that I talked to someone who talked to someone, and like I have this widget of information that I see everything else, and I'm like, this is what I think, and what I think is like world changing. So I really don't want to say that online. I don't know that much about Soviet armor. It was never really an interest of mine. Although I will have to say that it's interesting that the Soviet body armor is pretty fucking effective and is made of basically junk. I also think it's interesting that the Marine Corps didn't order more tanks. It's robots, Jumpy. It's kind of robots. It's robot-ish. The Terminator-like future is coming faster than you would think. From my perspective, I started Estrogen and pretty much got kicked off their show. So, Kenneth, I think you're correct. Yeah. Huh. I don't have that much to say about that other than Jim Bowie. His original knife, as I understand it, was pretty much a coffin handled style in Bowie, typical style of the time with the brass thing on the back, like what you think of as a Bowie knife. I don't know that much about it other than that. Titanium ain't junk. Oh, the Russian titanium armor? Yeah. Russia has a lot of titanium. If I were them, I would make titanium armor. I really just wanted to leave his friends. That's what pisses me off the most about those people in that show. I was trying just to walk away. And as I was walking away, I started getting death threats and told to leave. I don't know. Shit. Westerns. Let's see what else we got. Clockwork Orange. I hate that fucking movie. I watched that while I was really fucked up with Dakota. Not a recommend. I also watched Breaking Bad for the first time ever. Yeah, like I'm not saying it's not giving me fucking emotional swings and shit. Like all I'm saying is this is me. I started that and I became unbearable to them. So I started trying to leave gracefully, knowing that. And I think that's what Matt took as me trying to steal people from his show was I was trying to convince Duke and Angry to come be on my show once a week. I'm sorry I asked them to come be on my show sometimes. So no, J Watt, the brass backing on Jim Bowie's knife, all of the earliest Bowie knives have that because Jim Bowie, I'm guessing, was Scottish of origin or something. Because the only other things that have that in the world are Scottish dirks, and all the earliest Bowie knives have it. They all come from the same place, unless maybe he just had the one that was made before then, like I don't know. I'm not saying for a fact that his did or didn't, but I would suspect it given the nature of the evolution of those I've seen. No, they could be that he had nothing to do with the Scottish ones. That's entirely possible. But the brass backing thing, you can find on knives in Scotland from the 1400s. So like that's a real thing. It was there for a purpose. That's debatable. Best that I can tell is that it was better at blocking blades or some shit. That's the only reason I could think to do that. It is a huge rabbit hole. It's certainly one of those things that like you could debate, and like it's one of those I'd like to know more about Jim Bowie, but like he's a character out of history that there's not really a ton known about. I've never bothered to go and research it, so there could be tons, I guess. But like it's one of those. I think if there was a ton, I would know something more about him than I know. Let's go see what Wikipedia says about him. That'll be fun. Jim Bowie. I hate this bullshit. My like internet security shit on this computer is all weird. Just tell me Wikipedia is unsafe. Let's see. Kentucky. Well, this is a lot of information. I really don't care about Jim Bowie that much. Yeah, like that would be my theory on it. Is this let's say exactly what you're saying? Like it's a blade catch. I don't think that's all that great of an idea, though. I think it is very stylish. I think that's why it continued. Is someone tried it, being a weirdo and like me, and going maybe it'll catch a blade, and then they're like it's kind of fancy, and then someone saw it and liked it, and they ordered one that way, and then it spreads. It's fashion. I think that pretty much it started out as let's try something, and then it evolved as fashion. Cat, he just wants his neck scratched all the time. I need to get him a flea something. I need to take him to the vet. I have flea medication that I'm giving him, but like it wears off after 2 weeks, and it says to give it to him every month. Do that soon. Where would you guys want these? Etsy or eBay to bid on them? Or if you would even buy one of these? I don't know if you would. I don't know how much to really charge for them either. Like this one all carved up, I think I'm probably just going to keep. But like this thing, I'm probably going to throw on something. I think it's dope. Dime novels muddy everything about the Old West. That's like Wild Bill Hickok being the Prince of Pistoliers. That's Wild Bill Hickok was kind of a drunken, broken man. They got shot in the back of the head. Like, don't get me wrong, he was in some gunfights and he did some things and whatever. But at the same time, like, there were a lot of people like him. He was just the one with the best publicist. I don't really know what else to talk about. You guys have a favorite Western? Flea Killer. I guess that's like an aerosol spray they make or something. I've never had fleas before. Like I thought it was something odd or whatever. Apparently, Oklahoma has had a flea outbreak that is of epic proportions. Ooh, pirate. Did you know that pirates were the first people to have homosexual marriage? They were engaged in what they call it was mateage or something like that. The Roy Rogers show. Roy Rogers. Like that's like a really old Western cowboy guy, right? Like the one that's like the nerds watched or something. I don't know. I was never into Rogers. We have uh, we have Will Rogers and fucking Claremore. It's like a museum to a cowboy actor, dude. I'm distracted by Roy Rogers. Pirates. That's what I was talking about. Mateilage. Yeah, they really, they really had gay marriages on there, and it was mostly a okay. We're probably not all gonna live. We're gonna get married, and then we all get all of our loot at the end, whichever one of us is alive. And like it makes sense in a way, especially if you're all fucking anyway. Like I think some of these people legitimately loved each other. Oh yes, like they all have eyeliner. I mean, go watch any pirate ever. They're quite gay. Also, they included women and lesbians and shit. I have tried to make a rapier. It was before I knew how to do anything. I made it out of mild steel, and it didn't go well, as you might expect. Put a lot of work into that bitch. Yeah, that was a hard learned lesson. There's so much of that shit where like I did stupid shit. Oh. It's really easy to want to duel the federal government when all you watch is Glenn Beck. I think that's really part of my issues. I should probably stop watching Glenn Beck. But at the same time, can't stop watching Glenn Beck because he's right usually. Go watch Glenn Beck. He's unusually well informed. Yes, Jay Watt, they did that. They had earrings exclusively to pay for their burial. What is S Talks? I don't know what that. See, Glenn Beck is like super religious or whatever, and if you can ignore the Mormon and you can ignore the religion, everything else he's telling you is pretty much true. Just you have to filter out that shit. And that's why I trust him for my news, is because he's not with them, and I know exactly where his bias is, and I'll take it. Like I like Ben Shapiro too, but that's not really news. I don't know what Ben Shapiro. He's like commentary. I used to really like Bill O'Reilly too. I still watch him now, but he's old and getting older. And he's just got a YouTube channel. That's probably true. Although at this point, I've probably got like a horde of satellites and FBI tornadoing all around me, unless none of that shit is real, maybe. Or my theory about them not being able to touch me because I'm in Oklahoma is true. We'll see. I don't really care. I'm driving a spray painted minivan with a straight pipe around Tulsa, and it's fun. Who are you talking about? He was lying when he'll get sued for defamation. If you're talking about the Alex Jones thing, I think Alex Jones did nothing wrong, basically. Like, should he have said the Sandy Hook shit? Probably not. Should he be able to be sued for that? Not if he's actively walking it back and shit and was the whole time. Like I don't understand that at all, really. Like, there's some First Amendment issues with what's going on with Alex Jones that I find to be very disturbing. I think anyone with half a brain should think the same thing. I'm sorry if you don't like Glenn Beck. That's really where I like to get my news, though. He's not right. He's almost never right, in my opinion, except for when he is. Like that's the whole thing. Like when you have to filter out all of the fucking like anti-gay rage that comes with the fucking Mormons, it's hard. And this is like I can't find anyone that has real news that doesn't have some of this shit. And this is like, back to Matt again. Matt watches Glenn Beck and doesn't see anything wrong with anything that he says. And really, I don't see anything wrong with anything that he says either, except for the fact that his religion contradicts my existence. And that's the difference between us. RT. Well, I'm not gonna comment on that. I think Putin tells us more truth than our own politicians. I thought you were talking about Glenn Beck. He's He's not fear mongering. He's speaking the truth, in my opinion, Jumpy. We're all about to have a rough time because of shit that Glenn Beck has been saying for the last 20 years, something like that. I remember in at least '08, I was watching Glenn Beck and hearing him say this shit. I did not believe it. Like, I was preparing already, and I'm like, oh shit, that's going to be bad. That was my takeaway from Glenn Beck. I didn't take anything else from what he said. And listening to him now, like, I think kind of he and Bill O'Reilly have their points. They aren't like, oh, the culture war or whatever, but there is a culture war. Like, it's not us that's waging it, and they don't get that there are people that are, you know, like me or you or whoever. Jay Watt, this is my issue. This is why I say the Constitution is invalid, basically. And now they're going after the Second Amendment. And the second they start fucking with it, like, what are you guys going to do? This is in a nutshell why I started making all sorts of crazy videos and calling people cowards. Because, like, we're going to have to go do some shit. It looks like. And that's sad. I don't know what that's going to be. Like, that might be war with China. That might be war with Russia. That might be fucking taking down whatever this is. But because of things that have gone on, there's a new state forming in Washington. China's going to war against Taiwan. Russia's going to war against NATO. That's where we sit in the world. So to continue to just talk every night about sci-fi shit or whatever and pretend like we're all going to be okay, like, I almost can't do that. And that's, I would like to make this a Western podcast eventually. Maybe episode 2. Episode 2 will get to be more about Westerns. Oh. Maybe I'll just title it something else. I don't look at Mother Jones. I don't need to hear what they say usually. I can hear what Glenn Beck says and know what they say. I should just say the opposite. I don't know which one is more true anymore. I just pick one to listen to because I can't stand listening to that much news. I agree, Jay Watt. Every time they do something like, well, if there's historical precedent to the violation of it, then shall not be infringed doesn't mean that, okay? Okay? Actually, fuckheads, it does. I think the 1934 NFA invalidated the Constitution. Prove me wrong. And that's half of people's thing. It's like, they don't get that, like, this shit matters, and this shit matters more than matters more than you and your shit, or me and my shit, or E Honda's fucking waiter job, or whoever's kids, or whatever. It matters more than any of that shit. I don't know. I would like to do pleasant videos, but I can't, basically. The Dirty Dozen. It's a good movie. See, Jumpy, this is where I'm at too. Winning Bruin and a lot of other shit that's going on right now. We are about to see the ATF disappear, 4473s disappear, lots of other shit. I'm getting ready to buy a machine gun again, probably. Or at least convert ones I've got. If the courts go our way, like, and this is my thing is, if you're winning in the courts like that, and they're starting to threaten people with the FBI because basically I think they're criminals and they don't want Trump to get back in because if Trump gets back in, he's going to use the DOJ to go after them and he's going to pick people that they don't own. And they're not going to like that. They're not going to win that. They cannot allow them to win. Yeah, I agree, Jay Watt. The the amendment that needs to be added to the Constitution, like the article that needs to be added to the Constitution, is that the original 10 Bill of Rights cannot be altered by new amendments. They are absolute. Those were the 10 things that we signed to join together as states. If I can't say what I like about the government and own a gun at the same time and smoke weed and any of 100 other things, at what point are you like, I'm still free? I'm still free. You know, singing, I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener, not having sex in my little helmet like Demolition Man. Like, are you going to live in that future? Like, maybe I'm just the first of the fucking, like, sewer dwellers or whatever of that movie. But that's where it's at, bitch. That's where I'm at. I'm just mad. I'm mad at the government. Dirty Harry. Django. Django is a great Western. Like, it's like this, like, revenge porn, black exploitation, Quentin Tarantino movie, Western Southern thing. Crazy. Like, I watched that movie and it's like, I liked that, but I don't know what it was. Other than it's a Western, like there's cowboys in it. It's so much. There's a lot of Tarantino's movies where it's like, that's a lot. It's a lot of things. That's the last Western on that page, though. Other Westerns we like. Would you consider The Edge a Western? I asked you guys what your favorite Westerns were earlier. I think some of you answered that. I guess I did them all. The Edge is set in the West. I think that's like, what is the difference between a movie set in the West versus a Western? Jay Watt, the Constitution was only ratified because the Bill of Rights was included in writing. Exactly. In fact, the Constitution wasn't ratified until there was the addition of the Bill of Rights. Specifically. So, I think pretty much every state that went red in the last election is probably at least a good candidate for states that will be in the new confederacy of whatever the fuck this is. I really can't believe that this shit's going to happen. I'm wondering what happens to the world as a whole while we go to war. Because if we're fighting each other, that's when the rest of the world's going to go. The rest of the gun geeks know the gravity of the situation and how important it is to stay up in politics, but you get burnt out, so you need an escape. I don't know the gravity of the situation. I think you don't know the gravity of the situation, Jumpy. Honestly, I don't give a flying fuck about your electricity, your air conditioning, your health care, or really pretty much anything else about you or your way of life. The First and Second Amendment come first. We don't have that, we don't have anything. If you don't agree with that, then you're not part of this. So that's my opinion. You know, there's some things where like you can have your own opinion and whatever. And there's some things where it's like, this is what my church believes. You can be here and talk to us if you want, but if you would like to be one of the faithful, that's what I believe. I really don't care. Trump, no Trump. I want someone other than Biden. Personally, I don't think Trump will fix things. I think we're going to war no matter what. Like the only chance we have to not go to war is electing Trump and him act. And like I'm getting buffered now because I said the word Trump. Interesting. The libtards are getting fucking violent as fuck. I'm tired of it. That's kind of in a nutshell why I am the way I am and why I'm getting spicier and why I think everybody else should be getting spicier too. It's like the Gadsden flag. The rattlesnake rattles. You know, we're in a Western right now. Right, right now, it's old man Biden coming to fucking steal all the shit from all the poor townsfolk of whatever you want to call fucking America. You know, Washlandia. That's what I've been calling it. It's our real name. We aren't America anymore. We're the United States of Washlandia. The Ghost in the Darkness is a great movie. It's like it's a safari movie, but it's set in that 1870s, 1880s era. So I'd kind of throw it in the Western thing too. It's an Africa pick though, so there's like lots of big shots of animals and shit. It's great. Outlaw Josie Wales is probably among my favorites. I can't say it's my favorite. I can't pick a favorite really. It changes like day to day, but Outlaw Josie Wales is one of those movies that I talk about all the time. We are in the spirit world, asshole. Like that's half of my thing is I took LSD and ecstasy like a couple years ago. I've been in the spirit world ever since. Gives you perspective. Half of my thing is I'm only really concerned about spiritual matters, and The Gods Must Be Crazy is a cool old movie. I'll have to check that out. Being concerned with spiritual matters, I really don't give a fuck about these people. And like, I wake up every day and I watch the news and I go, someone should protest. And like, I kind of think if I went and protested standing out on the street, they'd come and arrest me. But I think doing this on YouTube, talking about the Space Marine Corps and trannies and movies and whatever, I think maybe some of this gets through to someone. Some of the things that I am upset about, that I hope you are upset about, as I hope we are upset about. Like the things that I'm upset about are not that fucking E Honda doesn't like trans people. The thing I'm upset about is that E Honda is a jackass. And like we're dealing with all of this government bullshit, and I don't talk to those people anymore because E Honda's a jackass, and I said some shit apparently. Like, I don't even care. I think that's really why I'm there, is that I don't care. It was one of those like I wasn't talking to them, they were talking to me kind of a thing, I guess. I don't know. Mystery of the Coke bottle. I've never done shrooms. My girlfriend, when I met her, was like, the way I am with guns, it's the way she was with drugs. And I toned her down a bit and settled her into like weed and psychedelics instead of just doing shit until you die, basically. I hope she's all right. I worry about her. You shouldn't do hard drugs, kids. My house just got buzzed by a police helicopter. That happens all the fucking time here, though. Where I'm at, like I'm at a central high point, and the helicopter actually uses my house as the target to circle. So what happened with her was I went to the hospital for I had like a little stroke kind of a thing. I don't know what it was, really. Still trying to figure that out. And when I got back, she didn't want to hang out anymore, basically. So I don't know if I'll ever see her again or not. I love her. I don't think I'll ever really love anyone else. Maybe a guy. I don't know. Like I don't think I could ever date another trans woman again. I'm not crazy. She legitimately makes me sad because of how much I love her. Don't do coke and stimulant. Coke is a stimulant. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I would tend to agree. Whatever your Russian name is, if it doesn't grow naturally, you shouldn't be using it. I only really do weed. I've done LSD twice, and that's about it. That was fun. Can't say I'd recommend doing ecstasy with it. Don't do that. She was fun to hang with. Best part about her was she was nuts for guns. Huh. My buddy and I were talking last night about when we were kids, both of us ate like an entire bottle of gummy vitamins and didn't tell anyone and could have died. And we are like, how's that both of us? Like, this is why Blazer and I hang out. Tequila. I think tequila and most things will probably give you the shits. This is my last weed cart. Probably I'll be saving it. I can go get more. We can actually get pretty decent carts here now for $7. So that's like the one like nice thing in my life right now is I can still get high. I The other carts that I was getting before were like $25 for a gram, and before that they're like 50. Oh, he's over there. Come here. They want to see you. He's a good cat. He's just a hoe because all he wants is scratched. I got to the point where I really don't care for actual weed. I only like the cartridges. So yeah, they're potent. Um, I don't know. I like them. Look at the camera, dumbass. Try not to blow smoke directly at him. I think he gets plenty of it just being in the house with me. I can't read Cyrillic. Hmm. Thought that was just like pussy. I still like Bert's machine story. My job is fuck cats or whatever the fuck it was he said. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut this off here. We haven't been talking about westerns in a while. Hope someone enjoyed this. Maybe we'll talk more about westerns mixed with news. I think that would be a good show. Maybe like western stuff mixed with news. Talk about John Wayne movies while talking about the end of the world. Good night, guys. I don't think Coke was ever legal, Jumpy. Maybe like back in like the old west. Not sure if Coke being legal would be a good thing or a bad thing, but that's a conversation for a different night. I'll see you guys later. Bye.